Hey everybody, welcome to Geeksvana Live. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. It's really great to see you all. We are entering a bit of a period now, aren't we, where there are a lot of little leaks and bits and pieces coming out. They're leaks of drones that we, of course, recognize, drones that we are starting to wonder about a little bit, and then the downright strange and unusual leaks too, which we're going to be looking at all of those this evening. It seems that DJI certainly has a lot to give us in the coming months and years. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the leaks coming out from the many Twitter accounts that are vying to capture the information and bring it to us these days. There's links in the description to everybody that we've shared information from today. There seems to be an ever-growing army of people basically ready to actually bring us this information, which is exciting. So if you're watching this now, either on live or in the replay, please do hit the like button nice and early, because it really does help things in terms of the algorithm. And of course, if you're new here, then do hit that subscribe button to be able to get more updates on this as we bring them. First up, and we have something most of us would not have been expecting really right now, and that is the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Let me know in the comments if you are already looking for an update to this drone. I have to say, it feels like it's a little bit soon, and is it even needed yet? I don't think it's coming, certainly not around the corner, as it were. So let's have a look at what we do have on this. The information is pretty light, but this is the picture of what looks to be more of a production model. We don't seem to have the usual mess of labels and bolt-ons that are often associated with these leak pictures. It is clearly marked, though, as a Mini 4 Pro. And there are some interesting differences, which obviously hint at perhaps which way it's going to go. There's also a lot of interesting similarities as well, including that almost identical camera there. The main one which jumps out to me is actually the sensors. Now, I'm going to bring up the existing Mini 3 here below it as well. And if you look at the angle of the front sensors, which are more akin to the larger DJI drones, and there also looks, if you look at the back of the image there, just behind that front left sensor, you can almost see perhaps there's another sensor behind there as well. And it looks to be, more than just a heavy shadow, basically, in the picture, which suggests there could be sensors pointing really to cover the side for the first time on a mini drone as well, which is obviously something which would be very exciting, I think, personally. Now, as we're all aware, we've been getting very excited about the upcoming release of the Air 3, so I'm not expecting this to suddenly become one of those ones where we see more and more of the images and pictures coming out, and I'm not expecting to see this one particularly soon. Beyond the leak picture, there is nothing out there to suggest the Mini 4 is anywhere near close, and to be honest, I wasn't even sure whether we'd necessarily even see one in 2023. Certainly, I would not alter your buying decisions or anything like that, or holding off and, to actually wait for this. I know some people do start to hold off and wait for a new drone to be released rather than buying something which might become outdated. Giant manufacturers like DJI will be well ahead of the curve and will always have these drones ready long before they're going to be going through a final release. Although the only caveat I would put on that is that the fact that this leak picture, it does look more like a complete product. So in my opinion, we could see that. Itchy Sacks, thank you for being a member for 19 months, a drone geek there. I really appreciate all of our wonderful channel members. You are awesome. That leads us nicely on to the other updates that we have today, which are actually focused on the Air 3, and then we've got something really weird to show you soon, which I'm not sure if I like or not. We're now crossing through the time where we would expect to start seeing some of the Air 3 leaks and trailer hints and that type of thing from DJI if they were going to announce the Air 3 very, very soon. So it might be that we're not going to see it as quickly as some of us were hoping, but I still think it's very, very close. In the meantime, the usual pace and curve of leaks has continued, with tweets actually starting to appear that to suggest what the certain prices can be. And let me just bring up those particular ones here. With the new RC-N2 controller, it looks like it would be, this is from Igor, which would hit around the 1100 euro range mark, with the RC2 package of this actually coming in a couple of €100 more than that, at around circa 1300. If this turns out to be correct, it makes some sense to me and would probably lead, I think, to some quite strong sales. have to say, I think I'm more excited about finding out what the RC2 is going to look like than the RC N2, but you know, both of course will be exciting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments as to whether that would be the kind of price that would attract you and the kind of prices that might actually make you purchase it. For me personally, I'm tempted at that kind of price if the specs actually come out in terms of what we think they might be. Now, in terms of the Air 3 as well, we have a picture that could show the new RC N2 controller. There is, again, little information on this so far in this picture, but we can clearly see that it is an RC style controller, and we only assume it is something related, as of course it's appeared on one of the Twitter leak accounts. Again, Eagle for this one. The image is certainly an RC N1, N2 type controller, isn't it? And it appears to have a different way for the phone to attach, but we'll have to wait and see more, as I'm sure that once we get past the current DJI sale ending on the 30th, we're bound to start getting more details and the leaks actually start hitting out there. But that is just my personal opinion based on nothing more than the fact that we tend to get a sale just before a release. So the fact, and looking at the models which are on sale right now, I think we might start to actually get an announcement straight after that. Now, that brings us to the really weird and wonderful leak image that I have to bring you next, which I have to say, as I say, it's a weird one here. There is really so much going on in this one picture. Now, clearly it's a concept. Clearly, it's a pre-production unit with the usual telltale signs of labels and the unfinished general look. We see a dramatic-looking small-sized Mavic S drone with what appears to be raised arms, similar to those that we're used to seeing on the larger Enterprise Inspire series. When you look further back on the drone, we also have what seems to be an RTK module, which that's pretty exciting, isn't it? The drone is being hovered very close to the ground, and this picture actually reminds me of the footage that we've been seeing of the Inspire 3 displaying some amazing RTK capabilities, flying at very high speed, inches from the floor with really true precision. Clearly, a small foldable Mavic style drone with these types of capabilities would be hugely popular. Enterprise users especially are being, shall we say, strongly invited by regulators around the world to use smaller and smaller drones, especially anywhere near people. And this would, it seems, start to provide a genuine alternative to larger aircraft. But it is a random leak image, and you know, I'm not entirely sure. Let me know what you spot and what you think this could be in the comments. It really does look like one of those sort of real sort of pre-production units. The gimbal looks very strange. It doesn't actually, it's obviously not the clearest picture in the world, but it isn't clear how all of it really works and how it all holds together. This could even just be, I suppose, something like an RTK testbed. Who knows? So we are looking at what I think is coming in terms of, we certainly see there in terms of the size, the style, that type of thing of the next Mini 4. We're fully aware of all of the leak pictures, etc., which have been circulating with the Air 3. We do now have this weird picture of whatever kind of real monstrosity this is. That they're packing a lot of tech into smaller and smaller bundles these days, aren't they? So it's something which I think is really, really interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what everybody thinks in the comments and the live chat when we come on to that in just a second. But I think it's going to be interesting from the point of view of cross compatibility and backwards compatibility. We're looking at new models. There's been talk of OcuSync 4. I'm not sure, but again, at times where I didn't think they would leap forward on the next transmission strength, the next transmission model they have. So I'm not sure necessarily whether it's actually going to be something which we're going to see happen, frankly, on this model. There seems to be more of a backwards compatibility ethos within DJI these days, and a lot of the controllers that we've had out have been shared all the way back to and just cutting off the Mini 2, because of course that's on older transmission technology. So I think we might well see these ones, which will actually be the Air 3 and the RCN2 and RC2 will remain to be PIC-PLUS, but it depends. But you know, again, we might see multiple different types of OcuSync sharing different controllers as we have in different other models as well at the moment. So let's go across and have a quick look at the chat to see what people are thinking on this one. Do let me know in the chat what you think. Now, early on, actually before the stream launched, Paul, who is a Steel City drone pilot, he thought it looks fake. That's looking at the Mini 4, of course, and that it has the same camera. And I do agree with you there, Paul, in terms of it looks very, very similar in terms of the actual camera, even where the little badges are in terms of the spec right up on the front of the camera there. The grille, everything else looks very, very similar. It would be an impressive fake if it was. We also, of course, have these different front legs here coming down at the front, but the same body ones. It looks like an iteration to me. It does look like a move forward, but it would be interesting to see if they can fit all these sensors, etc., within these type spaces, and if that little black line we see there towards the back of the Mini 4 Pro here is actually a sensor or something completely different. Of course, we've got no idea when we have such little information. Fidget and Switch, I actually suggested the Mavic 3 like front sensor setup in the comments for someone else's YouTube video. It would look cool in my opinion. Yeah, I think so too. But if we ended up with a Mini series drone that had the side sensoring as well, I think that would be something that a lot of people would like, personally. Itchysack FPV, good to see you. I still love that name, Sam. That thing is really ugly in my opinion. Yeah, it isn't the best looking little drone. I mean, I have to say, I think the weirdest looking thing, the ugliest looking thing is actually this one here. But I suppose the looks of the drone, it's a weird thing, isn't it? As us drone enthusiasts, we like our drones to look nice, and I think I'm looking over at my Mavics and even the Parrots that are in my cage at the other side of the studio there, and we have had some quite good looking drones over the years, so I think we're really looking for that. Heinrich II, good to see you. Latest update for the RC1 now has height restriction. Do not update RC when the update is out. All new mini series will be restricted to 120 meter Europe. I don't fly that high, but yeah, which obviously I think there was an update and the update was corrected, but I know that there is some concerns over that. Obviously that kind of thing would cause an issue in terms of, especially from the fact of where you take out your takeoff position, and actually your height above ground level can be very different depending on where you're flying, etc. So I know that that's something which is difficult. And Lindsay Hayes is agreeing there that the update was superseded. It was a problem if you flew up hillsides, exactly as I'm saying, and could have resulted in a crash. Droney, etc., paused at 120 meters anyway, though. And yes, I know there was a couple of tests on that as well. So there we go. That is the very quick update in terms of the Mini 4 leaked picture, the individual picture. I don't think that this is necessarily a sign that a Mini 4 is around the corner. One of the things that I think this is a sign of is actually that the leakers on Twitter are actually getting very, very good at gaining these pictures from the public domain, and essentially the way that they're scrubbing the internet in terms of finding these things is getting a little bit more sophisticated. So I think we're starting to pull out more pictures and that type of thing. So that, I think that's where this kind of picture, and even arguably this one, has really come into things. That's just my personal opinion. So again, if you're watching this on the replay, do let us know your thoughts, etc., in the comments below. I would be really interested to know that. And our live audience, I hope you enjoyed our slightly quicker live intro. We are going to be doing the shorter live intro for the shows, which are a little bit shorter, like this one, when I'm only coming on for 10-15 minutes to provide you a quick update. I don't want you sitting there for a 4 or 5 minute intro, frankly. So there we go. We will be live again tomorrow evening, myself and Graham. We're actually looking at the CAA's proposals, their thought processes, some publications they've put out in terms of how they see the future of lower airspace. And beyond things like remote ID here in the UK, beyond how all of that's going to be dealt with, I think these two documents give us a really strong impression of where lower airspace is heading and how the CAA are going to be handling it in the very near future, basically. So we'll be seeing how practical we think those are. And also later in the week, we have an airspace explanation here in the UK, where myself and Graham are going to be breaking down the different types of airspace and where you can all fly your drones. Again, a little bit like our VLOS stream a couple of weeks ago, where we're going to try and break down a fairly complex topic into some fairly simple, easy to follow advice, basically. So there we go. Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your evening. I'm off to have some more cookies, which was mentioned in the live chat before, and I'll see you next time on Geeksvana. Thanks guys. Bye bye.